Hello my dear students, welcome back to another session of biology class. We were continuing the levels of organization in the animals, which forms a basis for the classification of various group of animals. Here the first classification, that is basis, was cellular level, tissue level, then organ level and organ system level organization. That was the three first feature on which the classification was made. Now when we discuss, where we have completed the organ system also. So what is organ system level of organization? Here organs associated together to form functional system, and each system is concerned with a particular physiological function, and this pattern is called as organ system. Example, can you give you an example? Very commonly we used to refer, it's a digestive system. Then what else system you can remember? Then circulatory system. So likewise you have studied many system of human body as well as animal body. The digestive system, circulatory system, nervous system, then respiratory system, excretory system, reproductive system. So these are the organ systems. So basically in organisms this system differs. So that also forms a criteria on which we can classify the organism. See, some of the organism will show a particular kind of digestive system. Some other organism will show the another type of particular system. So those organisms, based on the pattern of their organ system, we will group into one category. Now we have two types of digestive system. Let us learn about the two types of digestive system. What are the two types of digestive system? It is complete digestive system and incomplete digestive system. So what is the difference with this complete and the incomplete digestive system? I will tell you once. Here the complete digestive system means it starts with mouth and ends with anus. Okay, it starts with mouth and ends with anus. Complete digestive system, and another one is incomplete digestive system. So what is the difference with this complete and incomplete digestive system? The complete digestive system starts with mouth and ends with anus, whereas in the incomplete digestive system they have a single opening. There will be only a single opening for their function. Okay, now for example, for incomplete digestive system, now complete digestive system we all comes under the complete digestive system. Okay, and even higher group of animals which starts with mouth and ends with anus, whereas in group of some of the lower group of organisms, for example in platyhelminths. Okay, so the platyhelminths will have a single opening. Okay, they have a single opening which act as a both mouth and anus. So that is one structure with which they complete their digestive system. So difference with this complete and incomplete digestive system is that it has two opening. That is mouth and anus. It has, in incomplete digestive system, I written shortly, you have to write it completely. Okay, what is DS means here digestive system. It has single opening which serves as mouth and anus. Example for this incomplete digest system example is, can you name an example for this? Just now I told about that. Which is that animal? It is Platyhelminthes. Then what is example for complete digest system? Complete digest system, all other higher vertebrates. Okay, so it is found in higher group of animals. Example, you can write it as mammals. Mammals exhibit this type of complete digest system. Even birds, reptiles, all those have that complete digestive system. One example only I wrote. You can add more examples for that. Next, about the circulatory system. Again, circulatory system also of two types. So what are the two types of circulatory system? Can you name the two types of circulatory system? That is open and closed circulatory system. Circulatory system of two types. There are two types. One is open circulatory system. Then second one is closed circulatory system. CS means here it is circulatory system. So open circulatory system and closed circulatory system. What are the difference in here? Here, in case of open type of circulatory system, well, let us take an example of a spider or any arthropods. Whichever the example you feel to take comfortable, that you can select. Now, just let me take the example of an arthropod or any mollusk and all. They do not have the proper blood vessels. In our body, if you take a mammal, here, there and all, the blood flows in a closed, confined vessels. For example, in our body, arteries and veins. Arteries carries the pure blood, whereas the veins carries the impure blood. Then capillaries connects these two. Capillaries connects these two. The these arteries and veins are connected by these capillaries. So in our body or in maybe in other mammals and all, the blood flows in a confined vessels. But here, in the case of open circulatory system, they do not have a closed system for the circulation, where the tissues are directly bathed in the blood. They do not flow in that closed vessels. So all the tissues will be it will be bathing in that fluid. So that's the difference with it. Open type of circulatory system, in which blood is pumped out of the heart and the cells and tissues are directly bathed in it. In which the blood is pumped out of heart and see from our body. If if this is the heart, okay, just I'm drawing an imaginary that structure. So where we have arteries, then veins will be there, which carries the blood towards and which brings from away from the heart, which take from heart. So like that, it will flow through that confined vessels. But in case of this open circulatory system, they do not have these arteries and veins or capillaries. They directly will be released out of their body, where the cells and tissues directly bathed in it. So in case of closed circulatory system, the blood is circulated through the how it is circulated through the arteries, veins, etc. Through a series of vessels. Through a series of vessels, because arteries, veins, capillaries, how they differs with respect to their diameter. Okay, so all of them have different diameter, so that's why they carry, some of them carry with the high pressure, some of them cannot carry with the high pressure. So likewise that you will study in the circulatory system. So blood is circulated through a series of, what is that, series of vessels of varying diameter. Series of vessels of varying diameter. So here blood is circulated through a series of vessels of varying diameter. What are those vessels? Arteries. Then what else? Veins. Then capillaries. These are those blood vessels or arteries which carries blood through a closed system of circulatory system. Okay, so this is the two types of circulatory system: open circulatory system and closed circulatory system. So what are the two bases of classification we have studied now? One of the bases is the levels of organization, in which you have studied cellular level is there, then tissue level is there, organ level is there, organ system level of organization. Then among the organ system, we have taken the example where they show the difference. Digest system can be of two types, that is complete digest system and incomplete digest system. Here the complete digest system, it will have the two opening, that is mouth and anus. Digest system will start with that and ends with the anus. But in case of incomplete digestive system, it has a single opening which serves as both mouth and anus. Then example is platyhelminthes. Circulatory system is of two types: open circulatory system and closed circulatory system. In open circulatory system, the blood is pumped out of their heart, where the cells and tissues are directly bathed in it. Now, in the closed circulatory system, blood is circulated through a series of vessels of varying diameters, that is arteries, veins and capillaries. Example: arthropods. So arthropods, for example, any insects or mosquito, you suddenly kill the mosquito, you can see the blood comes out of that, right? So they do not have that system of closed circulatory system. And many other, some of the millipedes, centipedes, all those animals, even if you kill a cockroach, you can see immediately the fluid comes out of their body. So they do not have that closed type of blood vessels. Now, in the closed circulatory system, all the higher group of animals, for example, you can write it as all the higher group of animals, that is birds, reptiles, mammals, are showing that kind of closed circulatory system. Got clear this much? Let us move on to the next basis for the classification. It is symmetry. You might have studied the symmetry in maths and all. Here this symmetry is whether the animal can be divided like two halves or not. Now don't think that you are taking a knife and dividing and seeing. It's just an imaginary line which confirms that that body has a proper symmetry or not. Okay, whenever you draw a diagram, when you are drawing any diagram which needs symmetry, then you have to analyze in all the directions whether that length is same or not. So likewise, the animals can be categorized based on their symmetry. So there are three types of symmetry are there. One type is asymmetry. Asymmetrical means, you remember one thing, in biology, whenever the A indicates absent. What does the A indicates? A indicates the absence of that particular type. So asymmetrical, one type. Then radial symmetry. some animals will have bilateral symmetry. So these are the three kinds of symmetry observed in the animals. First one, asymmetrical. So what is asymmetrical means? Asymmetrical means any plane passing through the center do not divide into two equal halves. Okay, do not divide them into two equal halves. Okay, any plane passing through the center which do not divide them into two equal halves. For example, sponges. Sponges are in this form, right? They'll be in this form. Okay, some of them in the they'll be bar sponge. So like this, the sponges can exist in different forms, having the pores over it. Now, any plane, if you are consider that if you passing any line which is passing through their center, will not divide them into equal halves. Such symmetry is called as asymmetrical. So example is, asymmetrical is found in sponges. Body is asymmetrical in case of sponge. Now second type is radial symmetry. When any plane passes through the central axis of the body. Second one, I am writing for the radial plane symmetry. When any plane passing through the center, divides them into center, or you can also write it as central axis. Any plane which passes through the central axis of the body divides them into two identical halves. Then it is called as radial symmetry. It is found in hydra. Example for radial symmetry is, it is found in coelentrates, echinoderms. Example for this is, coelentrates. Coelentrates means hydra. Then coelentrates, echinoderms. Think about the starfish. Okay, starfish, one peculiar feature is that the young one, the larva of the starfish will exhibit radial symmetry, whereas the adult will show the bilateral symmetry. So there is one kind of special feature that we'll discuss again in the when we discuss about the phylum Echinodermata. So in this case, phylum in the Coelentrata, Echinoderma, then what else are examples you can take? Ctenophora. There no symmetry, they have only the radial symmetry can be seen. Okay, so hydra, if it is there like this. Okay, so you can, in the any radial plane, you can divide into two equal halves. Okay, so you can just refer your textbook. So it is little difficult for me to draw it this board. So just refer in the textbook, page number 47, look at that diagram 4.1 showing the hydra having the radial symmetry. Now next one is bilateral symmetry. Consider a crab. Okay, crab is shown. Even if you consider the human body also, they show the bilateral symmetry. So bilateral symmetry means where the body can be divided into two identical left and right halves. That is called as bilateral symmetry. So the